Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 345 of the Nope Coach podcast. Imperfect action trumps perfect inaction. I'm your host, Suzanne Kohlberg, and I can't believe it's been this many episodes and I haven't spoke about this topic yet. I used to be a perfectionist. I don't like to say I'm a recovering perfectionist because I don't want to identify with a behavior that I no longer want to instill. I say if I'm, in recovery from perfectionism, I'm still identifying as a perfectionist, and that is no longer the case. So I really truly embody imperfect action in pretty much everything that I do. And I'm really proud of that because perfectionism robbed me of so much. There were so many things that I wouldn't do or put out or publish or share because they weren't perfect or polished or pretty or, all these things. And there are some people I know who don't like my work or my content or what I do because it's, rough and ready. But there are people who love that because it's like, wow, if she can do it, and has no fucks given, then perhaps I could just be me and it's okay. And I love modeling that. So this story is going to make some of you laugh and some of you cringe. And so when I started this podcast, I didn't really know much about YouTube. So I know that some people prefer transcripts to listening. So I put each episode on YouTube because it will give automatic transcripts for people. That was it. Literally uploaded it, hit publish. Bob's your uncle. I don't know if that's an Australian saying. So if you're from overseas and you're not familiar with it, let me know. But, it just means it's just done. And it wasn't getting many views. And I honestly didn't mind so much because this is a podcast. And when I personally consume podcasts, I nominally listen to them while I'm walking or doing my housework or, what have you. Over time, more and more people did begin to watch them on YouTube. And so I was like, maybe I could spend a little bit more effort with this. And one of the things I learned is having a cover, like a cover photo, is more enticing for people. If you're just, because I'm not a big YouTube watcher. Well, I wasn't. I am now. Nearly a year later, and it's a whole other story. But if you're watching this on YouTube and you see suggested videos on the side, and you see a cover with some words, it's like, oh, that's appealing. I'll click on that. So I thought, oh, okay, I will do up some covers. And in the beginning, this is where my imperfect action is. I just started from the episodes as I was recording them. And there's so many times in this show, different things I've tweaked along the way. Instead of going back to the 100, 200, 300 prior episodes, I started from where I was and worked forward. As I started to introduce these YouTube covers, my views really started to roll. So I was like, perhaps it's worth going back and slowly uploading covers for all my prior episodes. Now, there's hundreds of episodes. Like this is episode 345. So, and this is a kind of slow, tedious process. A number of people said to me, like, why don't you hire someone and go to Fiverr or wherever? And well, yes, I could, but that requires budget and explaining and training and giving somebody, I don't know, potentially access to my YouTube, and it's a whole other thing. And right now I'm a team of one and a couple of subcontractors, and anyway, story for another day. So I've been doing it myself and it's been going really, really well. And then in this last week, as I was getting back to the early episodes, like I think I'm now in the early 100s doing those covers, I noticed one of the covers, it said episode, like there was an extra O in there. And I was like, oh, must have been a bit tired. But then I noticed not just that cover, all of them. So by this stage, there's like 200 YouTube covers, and every single one, I have spelt the word episode wrong. I find this hilarious because, like, I've never claimed to be very good at English, like grammar, spelling, they're not my jam. But the fact that nobody commented, I find this even more amusing. Now, this is where I said, I used to be a perfectionist. That little part of me kind of raised its head. It's like, you need to fix them all. And then the rest of me was like, I can't be fucked changing nearly 200 YouTube covers to remove an O, because I'm going to have to go back into Canva, and it's a no from me with the photos and the words. It's like, no, imperfect action trumps perfect inaction. So if you don't believe me, scroll back, go, if you're on YouTube, go to the video, scroll back, you'll see where it changed from episode to episode. And then I haven't gone back further yet, because for now I'm like, I can't be bothered. I'll get there eventually. But if you watch this show, depending on when you're watching it, if the episodes around 100 and before have it, there'll be like the first 100 episodes, episode and the number in the cover. Then from 100 to about 330-ish, episode. And then from 330-ish forward, it says episode again. But the thing is, sometimes we let things like that hold us up. It's like, until it's perfect, I can't share it. Or if I find some little mistake like that, it needs to be taken down. Now, there are times where you do expect really good grammar and spelling and punctuation. People who have big teams, media outlets that have editors and people hired for these very roles, copywriters and that sort of stuff. But if you're going to hold a small business to that kind of standard and then go, I'm not going to work with them because they can't spell, my point of view now is that's not somebody who I'd want to work with anyway. We're not going to work well together if you're going to, totally flip out if I spell a word wrong, or if I have, a comma in the wrong spot. We're just not a fit. And the other thing too, if I had waited till I understood the ins and outs of YouTube, I am learning very much on the go. I'm 345 episodes in, and I'm only just now looking into SEO and keywords and stuff. And then I'm like, does this bring me joy? I might Marie Kondo that shit, because it doesn't. Like, I did do a little course and I loved the course, not knocking that. But I was like, to spend the hours studying this and then to try and rank and then it just, for me, it interrupts my flow. And, if I wanted to grow faster, if I wanted all this sort of thing, then, maybe that would be a pathway that I go down. But I was like, I am much preferring pressing forward, talking about the things that I'm passionate about, the things that clients that I'm working with are going through, and trusting that that organically is growing and people are sharing it as they come across it, rather than having to hit a specific keyword and all that, because that just, it doesn't feel aligned for me. It doesn't bring me joy, as Marie Kondo would say. And yeah. So whatever it is you're wanting to start, podcast, a book, a business, something that you're like, I can't do this yet because, I need insert all of these skills here. How could you start it imperfectly? How could you just get your microphone, hit record, let it be what it will be, and then edit it and change it as you go? An thing I've started recently, as in like in the last week, is reels. I hired someone for a while. They were fabulous. But once again, when you hire someone, that's an expense. And, business has been a bit slower lately. And I did an episode on that a couple of days ago. So if you haven't checked that out yet, there's something about have a low month in business, don't helicopter mum your business. So that was something I had to pull back on. So I was like, I could probably do this myself. Nowhere near as good as the person, whose job it is to do this. But I was like, I could figure it out, fuck around and find out imperfectly. And the first reel I did, if you look at it really closely, no pun intended, it's not quite lined up. So like my backdrop is a little bit off to the side. And this thing took me like 3 hours to do my first one. And I was like, can I be bothered to re-edit this? No. So I just published it. And then the second one, it's just each time I learned something else. I eventually learned how to put an ending card. So at the end of the reel, it can say, listen here, because they're only snippets from this show. And then, a cover art. And I'm just, basically it gets better as I get better. Instead of saying, well, I can't publish a reel till I can do it perfectly and spend hours crying at my computer, I'm putting them out there. And if someone's like, oh, it's not formatted right, or your subtitles are too big, or they go over the edge and stuff, yeah, thank you. I do realize that. But I'm learning as I go, and they get better, and I'm having fun. And I think sometimes we lose touch with why we started the thing. It feels like a drag. And it's just like, what are you doing this for? How can you find the joy in this? And I'm sure my reels will get better. And as this show comes to an end, so this is episode 345, At episode 365, my daily podcasts are done. And if you are tuning in and you're catching this live, I'd love to know, do you enjoy them daily? What's happening? Send me an email, info@suzannekolberg.com, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to wrap it and just do what I'm calling, I got the title from May Kay saying, she does an intuitive release schedule. So basically when I feel like it, and see where we go for there, because I've met my goal, I've met my quota. And if people are like, no, 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 you've got to keep doing them, let me know. Because that's another thing I've said on a few episodes. Sometimes we don't give people feedback. And if they don't know and they don't hear and they just think, oh, yeah, no one's watching or no one's listening or not enough people are enjoying this, then we stop. But if people are like, no, no, I'm really loving this, please send me an email, let me know. So all of this to say, where in your life are you holding yourself back from even starting? Because I don't know enough yet. Now, caveat, I'm not saying you deciding, I want to be a brain surgeon, I'm going to find someone's head to drill a hole in. No, no, don't take what I'm saying to the extreme and use it against me. But I'm saying, surely there's something, writing a book, starting a blog, doing a podcast, getting fit again, asking somebody out, whatever it is that you're just like, oh, I need all these things first. How can you just start with where you are, with what you have, and allow it to improve over time? And then notice how there is so many more cheerleaders than naysayers. When I put one of my reels out the other day, someone commented and said how much they enjoyed it and I'd done such a great job. And I was like, are you for real or are you having a lend? Because my past perfectionist, as I said, was piping up going, this is a bit shit. And they're like, no, no, this is great. And I was like, oh, thank you. I so appreciate that. Because I think somewhere along the way, we've lost touch with just having a go because, you know, it's if we can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. That was something I think it was like a mantra. Maybe it was an unsaid mantra in my house growing up. And now it's like, yeah, let's just have a crack, see what happens. Am I having fun is so much more important than does it look perfect? And if you can roll with that, just see how your life changes. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this and you're on YouTube, please comment, please subscribe. If you know somebody who'd benefit from this episode, please share it with them. My goal for this year is to reach 1,000 subscribers. And you know, you might think, oh yeah, now she'll get there, because it's so easy to think that. But you know, your share, or if you say to someone, hey, I think you'd love this, and invite them to, I would so appreciate that. If every single person on this channel did that and one person joined as a result, it would double overnight. That would be fabulous. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.